All right, guys, so we are going to start plotting points now. So let's look at our first point. It's point R, and point R was -2 and -3. And so when we look at point R, remember in our ordered pair, our first coordinate was our x-coordinate, and it's going to correspond to the x-axis. Our second coordinate was our y-coordinate, and it's going to correspond to the y-axis. So we're going to start with our x-coordinate. And remember, our x-coordinate goes left to right. So since it is a -2, we're going to go to the left 2, where that -2 is on the x-axis. And then our y-coordinate is -3. So then we're going to go down 3, where -3 would be on the y-axis. And this is where our point would be. And that is point R, if you want to write a little R beside it and label it. That's how you plot your points. So now let's look at point S. So point S is -10, 0. Again, our first coordinate is our x-coordinate. Our second coordinate is our y-coordinate. So the first thing we do is start at the origin, and we're going to go to the left -10. So we're going to go to the left 10. So we go over, here's our -10 on the x-axis. Now this one is a little different because it has 0 for our y-coordinate, meaning we don't move at all because our 0 point on our y is actually on the x-axis right here. So that is why our point -10, 0 is on the x-axis. And then we are just going to label it point S. So I'm going to erase all of my random dots that I've got on there so we can start with point T. So point T over here is -3, -4. So I'm going to label my X and my Y. So -3, we would go to the left 3. And then for -4, remember if our y-coordinate is negative, we're going to go down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be right here beside where I labeled point R. And this is point T, so we're going to label it point T. And it doesn't matter where you label it, just somewhere beside the point where you actually graphed it is perfect. Now, I want you to pause this video and I want you to try point U and point V on your own, and then when you're finished, hit play and you'll see me do it and see how you did. So for point U, it's -10, +6. So remember, our first value is X, second value is Y. So we're going to go to the left 10 because remember our X value, if it's negative, we're going to the left, and then we're going to go up 6. So point 10 should be right here, or not point 10, I'm sorry, point U should be right here, graphed on your coordinate plane. One more, point V, our X value is 7, our Y value is -3. So we're going to go to the right 7 because our X value is positive, and then our Y is negative. So we're going to be down 3. And so now we have point V that we are labeled. So that is plotting ordered pairs on the coordinate plane. Okay, so now we are going to do essentially what is the opposite, and that is stating the coordinates of each point. So in this case, we have our points already plotted, but we need to do the opposite. We need to write the ordered pair. So basically, how do you get to that point starting from the origin? So we're going to start with point F. It doesn't matter which point you start with. We're just choosing point F. So we started our origin. To get to point F, we have to go to the right 3. So that's a +3 on our x-axis. And then we have to go up 10 units to get to point F on our y-axis. So our ordered pair for point F would be 3, 10. Now let's go over to point C. The same idea. So first we start with our X. Remember, whatever was first in our ordered pair is our X. So we're going to go all the way over until we're even with point C. So we're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units over. So I'm going to erase my X and write my 10. And then we're going to go up 2 until we hit point C. So that is our ordered pair for point C, 10, 2. So now let's look at point D. If we start at the origin, we have to go over 9 units to get to point D, and we're going to the right, so it's a positive 9. Now, the difference here is we're going down to get to point D this time. We're going down 2 units. So point D is on the Y, has a Y value of -2. Okay, see how it's even with the -2 on the Y-axis. So our ordered pair for point D would be positive 9 because we're going to the right on the X, and -2 because we're going down. Now let's move over to point B. Point B, we go over, actually I'm going to erase all of this, so that's all out of your way now. Point B, we go to the right. We always start at the origin, remember? So we're going to the right 1 unit. So point B is 1 for the X coordinate. And then we have to go down 9 units. So remember, when we go down for our Y coordinate, we're going to have a negative Y value. So point B is 1 because we go over 1 unit, and then we go down 9 units to get there. So remember, our ordered pair is like our map to show where we go on the coordinate plane to find our ordered pairs, to find our point. So pause the video for 1 second and go ahead and do point E, then turn it back on and see if you got it correct. All right, so for point E, we're going to erase everything from point B. And so point E is different because we go left first from the origin. So we go left -5 because we've gone to the left 5 units until we're even with it. Once we do that, then we are going to go down -5 as well. So our ordered pair on point E is -5, -5. So this was stating the coordinates of each point. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about as far as a coordinate plane is concerned are the quadrants. So the coordinate plane is dividing into 4 parts called quadrants. So that's QUADRANTS. I apologize, my handwriting is not great writing on the iPad, so that's why I wanted to spell it for you as well. So these quadrants just divide the coordinate plane into 4 parts. And their order is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So you will have to tell me in just a second what quadrant certain order pairs are located in. So this is your order every single time. I still remember it. It's like writing a C. We start at 1, and then we move around like you're writing a C, and it's in that order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're to the point where we state the quadrant or axis that each point lies in. So you're essentially graphing your point. If you want to graph it in your head, you can do that. Or if you actually want to graph it on your paper, by all means do that as well. So the way we're going to do this is we start with H, -7, 2. So remember, we're going over to the left 7, up 2. So here's where point H is. Now remember when we talked about our quadrants, it was 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what quadrant is point H located in? Quadrant 2, right? So we're going to say H, quadrant 2. Couple things. I'm fine with you just doing Q for quadrant. You must do the Roman numeral. It's a mathematical thing. So make sure when you're doing it, write the quadrant as a Roman numeral. Okay, let's look at the next one, point I. So we're starting at the origin again. We're going to the left 1, down 2. So here is where point I is located. What quadrant is point I located in? Quadrant 3. Then J, negative 9, 4. So we start at the origin, we go over negative 9, and we go up 4. So here's point J. Now we come over here. J is located in quadrant 2. So we just put quadrant 2. Now, I want you to pause the video and then go ahead and do point K and point L for yourself, and then we'll check your answer. So point K should be negative 5, negative 2, right? And that puts you in quadrant 3. Now looking at point L, 4, 6. So we go to the right 4, up 6. Here is point L, and that is quadrant 1. Okay, so one more thing I want to look at, and that is how your instructions say state the quadrant or axis. Meaning if you have a point that is graphed on the axis, so say you have point 2, 0. This is point 2, 0. This point is located on the x-axis. So the answer to that one would be x-axis. If the points are located on an axis, it's not technically in a quadrant, so you would put whichever axis your point is on for your answer.